Colossians here actually says something that is pretty good. This idea that Jesus is the visible image of an invisible God. And it kind of gets into this idea of a transcendent God versus an immanent God. A God that's out there as well as a God that's in here. And this really kind of gets to the heart of this binitarian view and why people believe that there's this binitarian view that's going on at this time within Second Temple Judaism. And the author of Colossians is really just adopting this idea. Now we'll get into this a little bit more, but let's see what Dan has to say.
So to begin here, Colossians was not written by Paul. This is one of the pseudepigraphic Pauline epistles.
Colossians is debated. The most recent survey that I could find from 2011 by the British New Testament Conference, and really this was just a survey of those who attended, we get a breakdown of 56 for Paul being the author of Colossians, 17 saying no, and 36 uncertain. This was an informal survey, so we have to take it with a grain of salt, but really, this is kind of the idea here, that it's debated. Now, there is a 2013 article titled Reconsidering the Authorship of Colossians, which argues that 50% say that it wasn't written by Paul, but we still see that a debate is here. So it's really among these disputed letters, and often the focus now isn't so much about who the author was, but the material.
But now we're getting into image Christology.
Image Christology is that Jesus was seen not just as a likeness of God, but a visual representation of God. It's an extension of God. It's based on this idea that Jesus made the invisible God, God the Father, knowable and present. So it's really this idea of you have this Father God, God the Father, who's transcendent, but Jesus is making this God known and making God a little bit more eminent through his presence.
What would it have meant for first century CE Greco-Roman Jewish folks to say that somebody is the image of a god?
It doesn't necessarily matter, as there were Christian and or Jewish teachings that would have impacted this idea and expanded on it. So while some Greco-Roman ideas, even ones informed by Judaism, could have seen it in a certain way, it wouldn't matter what the outside perspective is.
It means they're a divine image, or, more vulgarly, an idol.
Not at all. It really comes down to what I just said. Yes, outsiders in fact would sometimes have negative views here. We do have examples of outsiders claiming that Christians were worshiping an idol, and this was based on their own experience of worshiping cult images and statues. They are taking their own views and placing it on another group with the assumption that they are doing the same thing. This would lead to the inside group, Christians, offering rebuttals and corrections to these views that simply were incorrect. They were not worshiping a rival deity. They were still loyal to one God.